some upcoming doctor visits, some things I'm gonna get checked out, some tests I'm gonna get done. I'm gonna share some of what's coming up here in the near future with you today, so stick around. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am April, and on this channel we talk about chronic blushing and excessive skin flushing and the mental things that contribute to flushing and blushing, such as social anxiety, things of that nature. So today I wanted to fill you in on some upcoming appointments that I have going on, just a little backdrop of why I'm doing these appointments, going to these appointments, and what I hope to get out of them. So back in November of 2019, is that right? 2019. I started this channel, Lean In Warrior, to start talking about my experience with skin flushing. I skin flush on my neck and my chest, and it was happening all the time. And is this stuck? Free, little bird, be free. Anyway, I was dealing with constant skin flushing, like all the time. Whether I was nervous, whether I was socially anxious, whether I was under pressure, or whether I was just taking a little sip of water on a Monday afternoon, calm as could be, all of a sudden, skin flushing. So when I started this channel back in 2019, my hope was that I was going to go visit an allergist, my functional neurologist, and I was going to be able to document all these different things, blood work and such, and see what exactly was going on. Well, then COVID-19 hit. Hashtag 2020. My dad got really sick, and I just had to put everything on hold. So for the past 5 months, I've been working from home. Not having so much exposure to people in person has really helped to reduce the amount of skin flushing I was having, which tells me that it definitely was a social aspect to it, especially in the corporate world, because I have a hard time in corporate because I feel like I have to perform, I have to be a certain way. Sorry about that. Text message. I have to be a certain way in order to survive in the workplace. It's how I have wired my brain. It's just a belief that I've agreed to, that work is not a safe place. If you get out of character or out of line, then that's your job, because that's been my experience in the past. So besides that, I have been at home working, seeing people through screens, and I have still had the flushing happen, but definitely not as bad as it was. So I'm thinking a lot of it has to do with the social anxiety piece and just not feeling safe in the workplace around people that could take something from me at any moment, which would be my bosses, which would be that they could fire me regardless of how much they say they love me and care about me, and we're family. I've had this happen before, multiple times. The other side of that is that I quit my birth control pills back in November-ish of 2019 because of the synthetic hormones. I felt like that was contributing to a lot of internal anxiety and some of the skin flushing as well. When I stopped those, I did start to see a huge reduction in just how I felt on all the time. I feel on. I don't know how else to explain it. I just feel on all the time. And ADHD, something like that. So got rid of that. Then I started tracking natural progesterone because maybe progesterone had something to do with it, because it seems that I have flushing more during certain times of my cycle. And I think we found some relevance there. So here we are now. I have been going to my functional neurologist over the past 3 weeks, just getting some adjustments and getting some work on my neck. My neck really does contribute to a lot of just anxiousness in the inside, and so when I get my neck aligned and my shoulder fixed, I tend to calm down in my nervous system. So that has helped significantly. But also in my last video, I think it was my last video, I talked about a conversation I was having with a girl at work who just recently got put on an anti-anxiety medication and had this whole panel of blood work done because she was having stress hives. So I do have an appointment to go see her doctor next week, I believe. And we're going to do a full panel, blood panel. We're going to look at histamine. We're going to look at different things that could be taking place inside of my body. And we're also going to open the discussion about the anti-anxiety medication, because it's an as-needed medication. It's not something that you have to take all the time. So I'm having the conversation about it. I've had a really hard time with that in the past because I just felt like if I take a medication, that means that something is wrong with me. And you guys know that my stance now is that we are not broken. There's nothing really wrong with you. It's just that we're in evolution and discovery. And so if I know what I'm like right now, and I know how I get really amped up right now, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm anxious all the time, but there are just these moments where I just am like, I'm tired. Like, I'm just tired on the inside, and I can't explain that. However, if I know that that is what is normal, if there's something out there that can help kind of pull against that and just help balance me out a little bit, I'm up for it, and I'm going to try it. So we're going to open up the discussion about that. I'm going to share with her about how I really like to look at things from a holistic approach, but I also am for modern medicine as well, and see what we can come up with. Because one of the things I hear about her is that she really does look at you as a whole person, and she doesn't just throw medication at you. And that's why I feel safe to go visit with her. She's like an hour away from my house, but this has been on my list to find a doctor that I could actually just sit down and have a conversation with. And from what I understand, this is that person. So just stay tuned for that, because she is with the girl that I work with the stress hives and the anxiety. She did prescribe her 2 types of histamine blockers. So I'm curious to hear about that. I'm just curious. So I'm just letting you all know that that's kind of what I'm headed towards. I'm also headed to see the eye doctor this week, because with some of the stuff that happens in my neck, I have a lot of distortion that can happen with my eyes as well. And I've been seeing something kind of weird in this eye recently, and it just makes me feel like this. There's no words. It just makes me feel like this. You know what I'm saying? And I honestly am not trying to be a hypochondriac here. I just think that has to do with the fact that I'm getting older, and I just need to get these things checked out. I do have like reading glasses with a little bit of prescription in them. And this eye tends to be a little weaker. So it makes this eye take over. And this is the eye where I'm kind of seeing some little weird things in it. Because it's like 2 people on the job. If this is like the A worker and this is like the A worker is going to take care of everything. It just goes and like sits down and takes a smoke break, and this one is doing all the work over there. So we're going to try to get this one to pull back and do its job too. Going to give it a write-up. So anyway, I'm going to get that taken care of this week and just see what they have to say about that. So those are just some of the things that I have going on. I've actually not noticed a ton of flushing lately, and I realized that like yesterday I was at my son's school orientation. He starts back school this week. We were at orientation, and I had on just a t-shirt and just sitting there talking to his teacher, and there was one other mom in the room. That kind of stuff actually used to freak me out a little bit, and I wasn't freaked out by that at all. I was just there, and I just really didn't care whether I was flushing or not. And I think that so much of that has to do with this break from being around so many people at work and just having my nervous system just shocked all the time. I do think that there's a massive element of social anxiety that I have that I never thought that I had that. I didn't know that I had that, but the more I think about how I feel in big groups of people, specifically in the workplace, I think there's a social anxiety element that's there that could possibly be contributing to the skin flushing. So that's where I'm headed over the next couple of weeks. I just wanted to give you all a quick update because I didn't do many videos last week. It's just been a crazy hectic time at work. We're restructuring some things, and basically I've like flipped a whole massive department of like 180 employees upside down, and I'm hoping that it works. I'm pretty sure it'll work. It's just takes a lot out of me on the front end. So anyway, that is my update for you today. I hope you all have had a great last week, a great weekend, and that you're revving up for a wonderful week ahead. And if you are flushing or having excessive chronic blushing and all of that stuff going on, I hope that you are leaning into it. I hope that you're having discussions about it. I hope that you're sharing about it and just bringing yourself to a place of radical acceptance, or continuing to go on the journey of discovery, such as myself, what I'm doing. I'm going to go see some doctors. I've been talking about it for a while. It's been about 5 months of just pure COVID chaos, and I'm ready to just get back out there and start checking in on me and what's going on with me. So I will see you all in my next video. See ya.